What is going on YouTube? It's PJ from PJ Arts of Darkness coming to you live with another retro format tournament. This time it's my own hosted event, Cyber format. Excuse me a moment while I find my script. As I a little bit scrambling to get this stream ready because they both were available to play today, and I was ready for the pros time, so yeah. Who do we have in the chat so far? Who's ready to watch the Cyber Goat Showdown #1 finals? We gotta... Alright, now I found my script. Raise my volume? Sure. I also should probably talk a little bit louder. That should be a little better. So yeah, this first tournament was really engaging. Having only started under 2 weeks ago, we had a 17-person double elimination event. I did want it to be 30 people. Sorry, no. Last one was 30 people. I was hoping for a little bit more, but you know, I'm happy with what we had. I was pretty happy with the pace of the tournament and the decks everyone brought, and just overall how the pace was superb. Glad to have a mix of our YFC regulars and some people coming in from the Go For My community like JCVD. And yeah, solid. We did, in terms of base, compared to the last tournament, which I'll bring up here, we did see a little less representation than we had from when BSOX was covering it during the YFZ month. As you can see, we had quite a variety in this, but that was 30 people. This is 17. And now that there's been another tournament following those last few months, we had a little bit more of a streamlined deck type representation. We had a couple of people on the couple people were on the Spice, so it wasn't entirely just streamlined into 3 different decks. We had 5 players on Goat Control. We had 4 players on Warrior. We had 3 players on, I believe it was Chaos. We had 3 players on Chaos Control. I'm sorry, there's 2 players on Chaos Control. 3 players were on Stein Monarch. We had 1 player on the Chaos Machine, and then the other 2 players on Alternatives. I think one of the standout decks that I saw, they didn't get too far, but they did get 1 win in. Was Claudie 95 was on Final Countdown. He brought Final Countdown to the event. I thought it was super cool to see. I hadn't seen that deck in forever. It's a alt WinCon deck, so they're gonna come up far and few in between when it comes to these more competitive style events. He maxes out on all the battle traps, and considering most players are not really geared towards playing the burn or anything, they're more about going for the battle phase. You know, Warriors are going to want to use the battle phase, Monarchs are going to want to use the battle phase, so shout out to Claudie for bringing the spice to the event. Nice to see players delving into that area. But we're here with the grand finals between 2 of our best YFZ regulars. We got Aretos piloting Goat Control, the classic Goat Control list. I want to say classic, but in comparisons to Goat, where the typical Goat Control has been pushed out by Chaos Turbo, Goat Control does well here as lining up the scapegoats to keep your life points safe, as well as summoning Thousand Eyes Restrict to, well, gain control of the board. Was piloted by Jazz in the YFC 15 event. We had myself and 3 other players piloted. I didn't fare too well, but Aretos pushing through the winner's bracket here. Let me just pile it up. Aretos punching his way through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, landing him spot in the finals. And then we have the opponent, the one and only, the GOAT himself, Alethea 2, taking the warrior package through the loser's bracket and getting himself into the finals, looking to beat Aretos twice and become a 2-time Cyber champion. Alethea did win the last event with the Stein Monarch. Now he's looking to win with his warrior list. In comparison to GOAT format, his warrior list cut down to Blade Knight to I think 1 copy, and I think the standout card in his deck has to be DD Assailant. It is a very solid beater, high attack and high defense for a level 4 monster. You have the banish component, so you can knock the Cyber Dragons into the banish zone. You can deal with any other big monsters in your way, like BLS. Any of the Monarchs, you just get them out. It helps to clear them out. But having that defense is also really important for 1600, so you don't just get hit over by an opponent's Dekoichi or Tsukuyomi doesn't flip it down and clear it. So, and he's running 3 copies of it. I know, a little bit of a spoiler, but the replays are all there. Anyway, DD Assailant I think it's going to be very recognizable for these warrior decks going forward, at least in this format. I mean, we did see it do incredibly well in Reaper as well. Again, being able to knock cards into the banish zone cuts off chaos. You cut off the other cards, like if they're running Premature Burial. Super duper solid. We are just going to get started right away here. I just want to quickly run things down best I can. These guys will be queuing up soon to get into their match. And yeah, who is ready to rumble? I know I am. I'm ready to see who takes the first Cyber GOAT Showdown trophy. Well, it's not really a trophy. The winner is going to get... There is a prize though. The winner is going to get either money towards a DB donation code. They can customize their deck. They can customize their sleeves, customize their profile picture to something else. They can load a GIF if they want to. Or they can load to that Discord Nitro, giving you access to all the Discord emotes throughout across servers. Giving you all the fun perks. Letting you boost other servers to help increase perks for that server. So I'm very happy to be giving out very happy to give out a prize for this event. Invites the challenge, invites the competition, invites the ferocity. So, we're just about to get started here. I'm going to kill the music. I'm just going to load into the game here. I'm just going to load into Dueling Book. I got to sign in real quick. Switch to my fancy display. Oh. Excuse me while I fix a visual component. Okay. Cool. All right. Stand by, folks. In just a few moments, we will be loading it into these Cyber GOAT finals, or just Cyber format finals. I will make sure I'm speaking at a consistently loud volume. I know sometimes I might mumble or like talk quiet. I'm working on it. Oh, and looks like these guys are in here. I am about to load in. But, ladies and gentlemen, let the finals commence. It's Aretos versus Alethea. Let's get ready to tango. Alethea winning the RPs, gonna go first. Very advantageous for his warrior deck. Running a little more traps on the trap side of things. So I'm gonna kill the... kill the dueling book volume. Set 2. Throwing down the DD Warrior Lady. Passing back off. The trap dust shoot's going to come out. Winning RP's going to be very useful with in a dust shoot format. Actually, a multi-dust shoot format. Some of the later GX and 5Ds, and even the Zexal, trap dust shoot lasts an incredibly long time in this series. Looks like Aretos is going to can of Nobuna Crossout, Tribe Infecting Virus, Last Will, Scapegoat, Vision of Faith, and Breaker. Lefia may be looking to shuffle in the. I'm going to shuffle in something. We'll wait in anticipation. Aretos still having those scapegoats. Protect his life points. May not be looking to throw down the breaker just yet, unless it's in case it's chainable. But Lefia could be. Oh, he's gonna throw down the tribe. He's gonna look to clear that DD Warrior Leader right away. Gonna swing in. Lefia is going to take that damage. It's going to clear both monsters out. They're going to be banished. Aretos is going to set. The MST is going to come out. It's going to snipe that back row. That Scapegoat's going to go down. Lefty's going to come and have a chance to hit Aretos directly. Aretos does run a does Go Control deck and does run a copy of Cyberstein, so it's going to cut. It's going to look in punching. 1800 with the Kaiku. It's going to quickly cut off that Cyberstein. The Warrior deck being able to put on consistent aggression is going to make it so. Going to make it less likely to lose out to a Stein blowout. Aretos going to T-pose, pass. Likely the Magician of Faith. Does Alethea have an open to cross out to answer the set? DJ Houdini, welcome, welcome. Exiled Force is going to be dropped. It's going to clear out that set. Likely the Magician of Faith, unless Aretos. No, the Magician of Faith is out. Alethea going to go over another direct hit with some Kaiku. He's going to cut him off the Magician of Faith. Aretos in a precarious situation. Alethea cut him off with Stein. Cut him off of Chaos Monsters. So, just to be a less actually. This deck doesn't run the Chaos sort. Otherwise it would be more of a Chaos control. Alethea hard on that aggression. The road is going to come out. The Dawn Zalug is going to look in and make Aretos' life even more miserable. The summon's clean. No torrential tribute. The book is going to be flipped on that Dawn. Aretos is going to have to protect his hand. Kaiko is going to go in for another direct hit. It's going to put Aretos down to 2600. Alethea hungry for this first win. Aretos going to have to possibly draw into another Scapegoat to get his life points safe. The Nox going to come out. It's going to banish that Dawn Zalug away. Set 2. Back to Alethea. The Heavy Storm's going to clear out this back row. It's going to put Aretos in an even more precarious of a situation. And that's going to hit. Aretos is going to take that first. Is going to be struck down. Alethea taking the first game of the set. That Dust Shoot, combined with the other top decks, that Reinforcement of the Army, very useful to these Warrior decks, being able to toolbox things in and out. In and out. That's not the right word. But Reinforcement of the Army, quickly grabbing things like Exiled Force, DD Warrior Lady, and heck, even Assailant to handle whatever the opponent's got in the field. It hurts a lot of their setup. We're going to get into siding here, so it'll be interesting what both players are going to bring in. Alethea probably looking to bring into the hate for the Scapegoats. Maybe seeing cards like Exarian Universe. which is now it's legal. From goat format, now it's legal. Very useful for getting rid of the goats. Aretos looking to possibly bring in some different defensive options. Gonna have to cut those knocks out of the deck, so they won't help much against the warriors. Sharing the stream round right on. Very important siding phase. Players having to flip around a lot of their cards for a specific matchup. We're gonna get into this game too. Aretos is gonna open this time. Aretos being on that back foot for most of that first game. Now having that first turn advantage. The T-pose pass. We're going back over to Lefia. Are we going to see a dust shoot? No. The pot agreed. It's going to come in. That's going to give that +1 in that card advantage. Lefia considering how to engage this. He's got to think about what he's possibly hitting. The Cyber Dragon is going to be dropped. That's going to be clean. Now the Rhoda is going to come out. There's no Torrential Tribute. Aretos might be holding it though for another summon. The Exiled Force is going to be called to hand. That's going to clear out that set monster. It is a Serpent. Sider's going to go and hit for 2100. The Goat's going to block it though. It's going to eat his Scapegoat token. Aretos baiting the Exiled Force with that Sinister Serpent. That's going to get called right back to the hand. Aretos now having the Goat tokens. He could be possibly looking to use a Metamorphosis play. 6 cards in hand. Could be also on that creature swap. Much to think about. 6 cards in hand. He's gone through 1 Rhoda. The Exile's in the grave. The Spear Reaper's going to come down. Aretos probably looking to clear it. That Smashing Ground's going to go and clear that Cyber Dragon. And Reaper's going to go in for a direct hit. Going to clear out one of the cards in Alefia's hand. That's going to hit. That BLS is going to be struck down. Alefia's going to have to... I mean, BLS... Losing that power card in BLS. Though arguably it isn't done too early. But I doubt Alefia is running the Warrior Returning Alive. But Alefia's not out of the woods yet. BLS might be in the grave, but there's still a handful of tools. The other Rhoda's going to come out. Alefia having 2 at the helm. That Donzo Alefia's going to go and get a revenge discard off on Aretos. The early BLS, not the worst thing to lose, as it doesn't do too much work. The Premature Burial is going to come out. Alefia's going to lose 800 life points. It's going to call back that Exiled Force, possibly to... Now, I see what's going to happen. The Donzo is going to hit, knocking card out of Aretos' hand. Exile's going to clear a token, then he's going to tribute it to get rid of the Reaper. Oh, it's going to hit the Serpent. Lefty hitting a dud. But still getting that a little bit of damage. Every little bit of damage does count, especially with 1 or more players on the Cyberstein. That's 2 tokens left. Aretos going to call back that Sinister Serpent to the hand. No Trap Dust Shoot right now. Forbidden Memories OST is kicking in. The music's intense. We're anticipating this next play by Aretos. He's a very methodical player, very practical. He tops, he wins these events because he's very, very logic driven. Every play is well calculated. He knows the ins and outs of the decks in many of these DM and GX era formats. And I've seen him even play in 5Ds formats. I saw him with a really spicy deck in Edison, a variation of the hero build. The Dust Tornado is going to come and clear that set. Ring of Destruction is going to be gone. Aretos losing that Ring of Destruction. Lefty coming in with the next card. The DD Assailant itself. Lefty gonna just clear out the tokens, not worried about the set monsters. It possibly a Serpent. He's gonna set one card, pass back to Aretos. That could be a set Serpent, or he could be looking to bounce like Magician of Faith. Should he have that card set? Every decision very carefully thought out. Never just firing off what seems to be the right play on the surface. Very carefully thinking not just this turn, but the turns ahead. It's what many players like Aretos and Lefty will do at this level. Every move is calculated at least to consider moves to come. If that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. He's going to set another card. Put one in the back row. The second Dust Tornado is going to come. It's going to clear the Scapegoat. Lefty possibly siding in more Dust Tornadoes, prepared for the back row cards. Hitting those Scapegoats as they get set face down. Lefty coming in that battle phase is going to hit Magician of Faith. Aretos is going to recall one of his spell cards. He's really looking for either the Scapegoat or the Smashing Ground's going to come back. If he gets the Smashing Ground, he's going to be able to get rid of that DD Assailant. Or the Scapegoat, he's going to be able to set up a play for... Oh, he's going to bring out the Smashing Ground. He's probably looking to get rid of these monsters off the board. And that was the Serpent set face down. I'm also going to set another card in the back row, getting ready for Aretos' next move. Serpent recalled to hand. We got a few options. We got the Smashing Ground on standby. Could be wanting to... Oh, the Mammoth is going to first clear this set card. The Snatch Steel is out. Lefty trying to pose it as a trap card. Was probably looking for Aretos' next normal summon. Possibly looking at something for the extra deck. He's looking at extra deck. He's considering either for this turn or the next. It may not just be a Serpent into TER. Serpent meta into TER. Ground's gonna clear that DD Assailant out. The Cyberstein's gonna be dropped. That's gonna be at 5,000 life points. The Cyber Twin. Cyber Twin gonna smash on into that Don Zalug. And then gonna go in for a direct hit on the Lefia. And then Cyberstein's gonna punch for 700. Lefty's gonna be down to 2,000, surviving a Cyber Twin hit. But Aretos is putting himself in a critical situation. But Cyber Dragon's gonna be dropped. It's gonna hit that Stein for 1,300. It's gonna put Aretos down to 600 life points. Very risky to leave the Cyber Stein out on the board. Aretos down to that. No, I miscalculated. It was 1,400, not 13. My bad. Aretos down to that 500 life points. The Heavy's gonna get rid of that set card, and that's gonna be it for. That's gonna Lefty's line of defense is out. The Cyber Twin's gonna punch in for punch in directly, and Aretos is gonna regain control of this series. We're now going to this game 3. Game 3 is coming up. Is Aretos going to clutch the victory, or is Alethea gonna push it into another match? Alethea gonna get that first turn. He's gonna get that first turn draw. He's gonna likely max out on those trap dust shoots. Very exciting to see this Cyber Goat gameplay from high caliber players. We saw how much time that Aretos needed to consider all the variables before dropping the Cyberstein with the Cyber Twin. Although that is the way that just often the common way games end, with the Cyber Twin coming out and punching in for all that damage. There is a lot to consider before dropping the Cyber guy. All right, looks like we're gonna get into this game 3. Alethea gonna be kicking things off. That Pot of Greed. Oof. Gonna put him to 7 cards. Possibly drawing to 1 or more trap dust shoots. We see how much it hurt Aretos in that first game. Alethea setting 1. He's gonna consider the rest of his board. The Rhoda is going to be coming in. He's going to pull out a monster right away. Usually with the left, yeah, Rhoda's just replays. He's going to hold those Rhodas for when he actually needs them. As although it's powerful to call the warriors to the hand, it does provide information for the opponent. That turn's gonna pass over to Aretos. Is he gonna eat a trap dust shoot? Nope, we're clean. Having that early pot like that is gonna give a huge advantage, especially to the warrior player. Is gonna want to set up that back row. Alethea did call DD Assailant and set it, so he's possibly leaving Aretos guessing. That MST is gonna come and clear that Mirror Force out from Aretos. Alethea could be calling in the Mystic Swordsman level 2. The Don Zalu's gonna come. And it was a set DD Assailant. DD Assailant's gonna come in, get rid of his stick card. It is a Spirit Reaper, so Aretos' life points are gonna be safe. The Smashing Ground is gonna get rid of the Reaper though. And one more set is gonna be put, and that's gonna pass over to Aretos. Aretos not suffering the fate of the trap dust shoots, but he is staring down the board. Oh, he's going to come with that Tribe Infecting Virus using priority. He's going to get rid of both these warrior monsters. Does Alethea have an answer? Another common card we've been seeing in this tournament, in this format, is the Book of Moons. The Book of Moons flipping any monster face up into face down. Very useful for dodging things like Tribe, or possibly cards like Smashing Ground. Resetting your flip monsters is has a high amount of utility. Both these players are on multiple Book of Moons, so that is this card to consider for when deck building in this format going forward. Also, the concept of priority. If a player passes priority on something like Cyberstein, a Book of Moon can be changed to possibly get around, to avoid getting steined themselves. Xarian Universe has come out. It's going to punch over this Tribe Infecting Virus. The summon's clean. Xarian typically used for clearing out the scapegoat tokens, but it has enough attack points to be able to punch over stuff. It's incredibly high stat lines for attack or defense to make it a very prolific card, not just for warriors, but it's a nice card to bring into the side. Given that we have seen a lot of goat control representation in this tournament, we could be looking for a lot more goat for scapegoat hate. Gonna recall it, Sinister Serpent. Will not be safe to set the Serpent, especially against this Xarian, because of its piercing effect. But it is going to be summoning attack mode. Aretos is probably looking for a Metamorphosis or a creature swap play. If the swap's going to come out, does Alethea have an answer to this? No, it looks like Aretos is going to get that Xarian Universe. The Balfe is going to hit his own Serpent. Lefia is going to take 1500 damage from that. Lefia is staring down his own Xarian Universe. Aretos only one set card, but it is possible protection. Lefia below the 5,000 threshold. The Warrior deck, I don't think the Warrior deck is running Stein. Unless Lefia is. But nonetheless, Lefia is actually in a position to get Steined, regardless. Aretos calling back that Serpent. Aretos is asking about the flip. I believe Xarian Universe is an activated effect. Xarian Universe effect, I believe, does start a chain. It is a trigger because you are enacting the loss of attack points. Aretos not activating the effect of Xarian Universe. Not worried about doing chip damage. 95 Clemmy, welcome to the chat. It's going to clear the Xarian. Sorry, it's going to clear the DD Assailant. Assailant's going to banish both. Lefia's coming up. Staring down a set monster. The Blade Knight's going to come out. Possibly looking to deal with if Aretos has set a Magician of Faith. Looking at that grave of Aretos. The only card that Faith can really bring back is Creature Swap, but even just getting rid of that one card of theirs. Or stopping that. Yeah, the Magician of Faith's going to be negated. Nice prediction by Lefia. The swap could have been problematic as Aretos could have just used Serpent to swap again. The Snatch is going to be taking that Blade Knight. Does Lefia have a Book of Moon to counteract this, or a Dust Tornado? We did see the multiples of Dust Tornado from Lefia. The Book of Moon's going to cancel out that Snatch. That's going to leave that Blade Knight to be run over by another monster. Both players are on even card counts. Lefia having another unknown set on the board. Aretos considering all the variables on this next play. Or if there is a play, it could just possibly be a set pass if his back row card is something safe. Very interesting. Even in a high aggression format like Cyber, the players are still going to be incredibly methodical. It is far from just a run down the opponent with high attack monsters or just spam flip for spell cards. It makes for a very intense finals. Even if it doesn't seem like much is happening right now, there's There's a lot of thinking going on between both players. It becomes like poker, almost a leveling process. Even in a relatively low resource situation. The last will is going to be flipped. The Stein is going to be dropped. Aretos going in for that 5,000. That's going to be... He could be running into a torrential tribute, but he has the last will primed just in case. The Gatling Dragon is going to come down. As Aretos is going to use priority to trigger the effect of Gatling. But he is going to torrential the board. Aretos did activate that last will, so he's going to be able to call out a card from the deck. Oh, is it? Apologies, folks. My camera is flipped just because because I'm looking at the screen this way. I wanted my head to like face that way, so, and I've also just kind of been leaning in, so thank you for pointing it out, DJ. Do I play poker? It's been a long time. I've like watched like videos and stuff on like poker, or like heard like podcasts on like poker players doing like in games, and they talk about like the leveling process. I haven't played poker in a while, and even if I did play regularly, I don't know if I don't know. I can't say that I'm an expert by any means. I just think there's a lot of other players have mentioned there's a lot of comparable aspects between... Oh, looks like we got a banished for the BLS coming down. Sorry, guys. I'll get back to my story in just a second. It looks like Alephia is going to clench this match, and oh, man. Oh, man. Alephia taking the first game, pushing this to a new series, giving Aretos his first defeat in this tournament, because it is double elimination. It is double elimination, guys, so Aretos does have to lose twice for Alephia to win. Which is why it's not, why the match is not GG'd, but we are getting into a new series. Sorry, back to my story. Yes, I haven't played poker in years. I did it just with friends and family members of friends. There was money involved. I wasn't the best because I was just overly cautious, and I think I definitely got taken advantage of more experienced players, but that does happen. Like, you come into a game like this, or come into Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Poker or Magic, and you're just going to get floored by the more experienced players right away, but it's a learning process. Sorry, that answers your story. There's things going on. Trap Dust Shoot's going to go off. Aretos getting the Revenge Dust Shoot on the game 1. He's going to shuffle one of his cards back into the deck. The Don Zalu's going to come in. The TT's going to pop in. Aretos not wanting to lose those cards in hand. And I do not blame him. Against the Warriors, you do not want to be down in... You don't want to be down in card advantage. Not even neutral, because I feel like Warriors have a very good neutral game. They're very comfortable doing one-for-one trades in most cases, as they constantly have summons they can access. Another one, DD Warrior Lady, gonna come in, gonna punch in Aretos for 1,500. Does Aretos have a defense? No, he's gonna put down to 6,500. But my comparison to poker was like poker's players do that leveling process, especially I believe at this level, when the players know each other and they've watched each other's replays, they get more into not just like, oh, what's going to counter his deck, it's what's going to work against this player. They do this, I'm going to do this, they do that, so I'm going to do that. And just point out right now, I'm just talking about these things. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert in this game by any means. I'm simply doing my best to comment on the match based on what I see and based on trying to put myself in the player's perspective. But it's part of my job as the tournament host and the streamer to try and best explain everything in the format and what happens, like play by play, and try to help understand for myself how these players are approaching these games. So it's part of it's part of me learning as well, because being the host of this server and the event, I want to gain as much information for myself as possible. So I always stand to be corrected on anything I'm talking about here. Anyway, we missed out on a bit of games. MST is going to hit one of those smashing grounds that Lefty primed. Aretos probably was snuffing out for some of these set cards, like the Mirror Force. The Warrior's not running a lot of chainables, so he's not worried about throwing things like MST onto a set. The Cyber's going to be dropped down. Going to get this DD Warrior Lady off the board. The Sakuretsu is going to punish that play. Appreciate it, DG. Appreciate it, DJ Houdini, and welcome to the stream. I've seen you around in the Discord. It's always nice to have new members. DD Warley is going to punch on this set monster. The Magician of Faith going to call back that MST. You're going to look clear. It's more of a Alefia's back row. Alefia giving Aretos more targets to choose. Possibly a bad one. Aretos holding prio in that draw phase. This is something very important for triple dust shoot formats, or just any format with dust shoot. Very important, the draw phase prio, because you can use a quick play spell like MST or Scapegoat. If you have 4 cards in hand, you have the priority to play that card, and they have to wait on their dust shoot. So it's very, very important interaction if a player has 4 cards in hand and a possible chainable, that not to just flip the dust shoot immediately, because the players do have priority in this case. And it's also something players can miss. I've missed it too myself. The draw phase priority, or even the standby phase prio. Very important to one to educate themselves on such rulings. The lefty is going to chain the Book of Moon to the Souk, so it's not going to go back to hand. And he's going to avoid taking a little bit of chip damage. He's possibly going to also have something to just clear out this Tsukuyomi. The Cydra's going to become them. Now, if it does attack into Tsukuyomi, the Cyber Dragon is going to be flipped face down. But Alefia, I don't think is too worried, because Aretos doesn't have a lot of top decks that are just going to clear out the Cyber Dragon in defense mode. Cyber Dragon, another very useful attribute with the Cyber Dragon at 1600 defense. It means it's not going to automatically lose to a Tsukuyomi, and it's not going to lose to, like, if say Tribe attacks its set, it's gonna have to they're gonna have to force to destroy it through a Tribe's effect. Aretos coming into the set. Could have pulled another Magician of Faith. The Road is gonna be coming. Lefty gonna probably dig into that Exiled Force to get rid of it. Doesn't want. Not gonna want to. Could just be this. Not gonna want to lose. Not gonna let Aretos get another Magician of Faith. Sorry, I was thinking between 2 cards. I was thinking being Sinister Servant, Magician of Faith, and yeah, the Faith is gonna be cleared, but the Scapegoats are gonna be dropped. Alefia very wise to be calling out the Mystic Swordsman to get rid of the Fate setup. Even here in Cyber format, where the Cyber Dragons are running around, there's more big monsters to deal with. Mystic Swordsman level 2 still having a lot of use. Getting rid of those flip cards like Dekoichi, getting rid of Spies, getting rid of the Fates, as you see, or even just anything flipped down, because we are seeing players on multiple Book of Moons and the Tsukuyomis, at least for Aretos. It's going to be good to just get rid of those cards right away and don't let their effects go off. So even at a time where Cyber Dragons are being dropped on the board, that Mystic Swordsman level 2, super great utility for the Warrior package, or even just a side package for the future prospects of deck building. Aretos staring down a Cyber Dragon and Oh, he's got the tribe. Gonna discard that last will. Gonna clear the Cyber Dragon and punch over this Mystic Source in level 2. Aretos comfortable with losing that last will. It is primarily used to set up the Cyberstein, but it's very useful for calling out, as you saw in that last game, DD Warrior Lady, or calling out Spirit Reaper. Or you can be cheeky and you can pull out your Magician of Faith from the deck and then slap it down with like Tsukuyomi or Book. So, Last Will is not exclusive to the Stein Monarch package, or even other packages like the Kato TK. It still proves to be incredible utility. But yeah, it does. Its power comes from being able to call Cyberstein right now. Yeah, very low resource game. Both players having fired off a lot of their removal cards. We haven't seen the. We're also kind of in the state. We haven't seen the Pot or Grey Souls be dropped, though I might be speaking too soon. The Heavy's going to be coming down. The meta is going to go and. We see that Metamorphosis, that 1,000 is just going to steal out DD Assailant. It's going to punch Alephia into. Down to 4,000 life points. Alephia. Gonna have to stare down that assimilated DD Assailant. And 2 Scapegoat tokens. He's gonna hold his 2 cards, pass. Gonna have to just take in more damage directly from Aretos. If Aretos had drawn Stein, it would have been lights out. Unless no. It's just been lights out. Alephia on the back foot. At risk of losing this game 1. Can he crawl back? The Delinquent Duo is going to be fired. It's going to hit that card in Aretos' hand. He's going to need a Cyber Dragon. Very dangerous to throw a Delinquent Duo at this low resource and at this low life points, because the next hit could just be fatal. It's going to prime that Ninja Grandmaster in attack position. He is going to crash. He's going to crash the monster. 1,000 Eyes is just going to steal it. It was the only way for Alephia to keep his life points up. Even if it was a very bizarre move. Alephia alive for another turn. The Graceful Charity is going to be dropped. This could be Alephia's ticket into getting back control of the game. He's going to have to drop 2. But he will be dropping 2 of his cards that are proving to not be useful right now. The Trap Dust Shoot, definitely not useful. He's having double Dust Shoot there. Some of the we've seen that part of the drawbacks of the Trap Dust Shoot is just having them at the wrong time, and they can just sit there completely dead. That's part of the risk of running multiple Dust Shoots, as you could end up in low resource situation games like this, where they're just duds, and your best hope is to have either them have your opponent waste removal on them or waste hand rip cards on them. But Alephia getting a little bit of control back with that Snatch steal. But Aretos needing to draw a spell trap removal. He's still in a very comfortable situation with 7,300 life points. Alephia is on the fence. He's fighting back, but for how long? Aretos may have used up his only Cyber Dragons. And at least with the 1,000 Eyes restricted in the field, his life points aren't in danger. Every little bit of life point gain does feel good, especially in a format like this where certain thresholds are just lethal. Dueling Book, lagging the players out. Yep, even at 6k life points is not entirely safe. You may think it might be comfortable at 6k, but your opponent just might have the nuts and go in for the big Stein player, even just another big. It doesn't have to be just Stein, because limiter removal is unlimited in this format. We did see Lolo bring back his machine his Chaos Machine deck. Lolo, who did get 3rd place. He got very close to reaching the finals. Just came well short, but props to him. Props to Lolo. He did get runner-up in the YFZ tournament, and he did get 3rd place, so he's proven that he himself has done well, and his deck has some legs. Alethea tributing that monster for that Cyber Dragon. Getting control of the board, and the Kaiku's going to come and hit directly, going to cut Aretos off of a few cards from the graveyard. Alethea getting control back of this game. Aretos now on the back foot. Set monster. Set back row. All cards set. Not worried as the Heavy Storm is in the graveyard. The Nox going to come and hit this set monster. The Spear Reaper is going to be cleared out. The Cyber Dragon is going for a direct hit. The top decks. The top decks have been crazy. Yes, the top decks have been wild. That is an attribute of some of these older formats, is even here is the wild top decks that come in. Is Aretos gonna take all this damage? He's considering his next play. He's considering if he's gonna use back row for these cards coming in. He is going to think on this declaration. He is going to take that direct hit from Cyber Dragon. The Kaiju is going to come in. And Aretos is going to be pushed. Now Aretos pushed in that critical spot. Alethea making an impressive comeback. After Aretos gonna have to rely on this back row for now. Breaker is gonna come out. Aretos taking that L. Alethea gonna push this to a game. Alethea pushing his way to the finals. It's becoming very close now. We're getting very close to this conclusion. I agree with Aretos in this chat here. This game, I agree with all you guys that this was a crazy game. It looked like Aretos was set to win, but Alethea having a few powerful top decks to come right back. Now one could say, now it is fair to, it's absolutely fair to say that the top decks are wild and they've been clutch, and that's also an attribute to the player's deck building, as these guys do know how to construct their decks in a way that they're less likely to run on dead cards, and it shows a very good understanding of how they approach formats and what to expect in these formats and what are the most common scenarios to be in. It comes from a place of experience, but also just being able to objectively view the tournament and the decks as a whole. So this is a very impressive testament, not just of gameplay, but also like the deck building. With Alethea having things like triple DD Assailant, those are good top deck cards. And Aretos having a few tools of his own for the goat control deck. Like, sorry, let me start the music. Things like DD Whirly, Spirit Reaper, having some very good top decks just in these low resource situations is what to expect. Aretos is going to get to go first again. At set 2. Pass back to Alethea. No trap dust shoot. The Pot of Greed once again. That Pot of Greed has been gravitating towards Alethea for a good chunk. For a good chunk of these matches. Alethea's gonna set 1. Set 2. Pass back over. Alethea, yes. Alethea being a very, very experienced, not just a GOAT format player, but a GOAT format topper. Alethea's won not just like GOAT format. He's winning tournaments in a multitude of events from like GX formats to the DM era formats. His experience alone and some of his own ingenuity is making him one of the like best players throughout this whole like Discord and just online and all the tournaments and whatnot. Now we're getting to a very more into a Wild West kind of match with both players having all their bullets ready. We're gonna see a bunch of like set cards back and forth, and we're both players waiting to see who fires off the who fires their gun first. Sometimes games are crazy top deck wars. Other times the games are become these high tense multi-set card situations. The Sinister Serpent's gonna come in. Aretos gonna hit Alethea in for 300 damage, possibly setting up the Serpent for another play. Setting one more. Pass back to Alethea. Alethea can think about this end phase. That Dust Tornado is going to snipe one of the back row cards. It's going to hit that Scapegoat. Aretos can activate it as he did normal summon. Alethea has 7 cards in hand. That Cyber Dragon is going to be dropped. He's going to trigger the Torrential Tribute. And the Xarian Universe is going to come in. Going to hit Aretos directly for 1800 unless Aretos has a card to protect himself. Dueling Book could be lagging the players. It is a coded website platform. It is subject to bugs and delays and whatnot, and weird glitches that happen. Aretos is going to take that 600 damage. And he's going to pass. Aretos is going to flip that Scapegoat. Aretos is very smart to hold those Scapegoat tokens, knowing they weren't going to exactly protect his life points, and just to have 4 ready at the helm so he could set up for even more plays with cards like Metamorphosis and whatever else and not. He's got the creature swap play is going to come out. Going to switch that token to attack position. The creature swap play coming in hot. Xarian Universe is going to punch that Scapegoat token. The Sakuretsu Alethea going to trigger the Sakuretsu armor to destroy his own Xarian Universe. Aretos comfortable with that play, forcing one of Alethea's back row cards out. Aretos out 2 copies of Scapegoat. At main phase 2, Aretos considering what to do with his next 6 cards. He still has a normal... I do believe he still has a normal summon. He's going to set 1. Hand it back over to Alethea. The Rhoda's going to come out. Gonna dig into that DD Assailant. Alethea getting ready to clear out some of those tokens. Gonna switch his own to defense position. Slowly chip away at these. He only has to possibly deal with 1 more copy of the Scapegoat spell card. Unless Aretos chooses to recall it with a Magician of Faith. Aretos facing 2 back row cards. We see one copy of Rhoda is out. Lots to consider. Aretos on the fence, not just his turn, like, because this is one more game loss and he's out, and Alefi will be taking the crown. It's been a very exciting series. I'm very glad that we got to a extended series here. As the last few, the Tribe Effective Arts has come out. Priority is going to come. He's going to get rid of the DD Assailant, pitching off the Serpent. He might go into attack and get rid of this other token. Yeah. Keeping Alefia's board down. Passing back over. As I was saying, with the last few tournaments I have streamed, such as the Imperial Tournament and the Chaos Return I did for the YGO from Zero server, those tournaments, those final matches unfortunately were incredibly short. One was just due to a unfortunate best of three where a lot of cards favored one particular player, and the Chaos Return series, where B-Sox literally dropped the Cyberstein on the opponent winning game. And speaking of dropping a big monster, we got the Blackluster Soldier coming in. No priority. Gonna hold on that banish effect. Could be looking to swing in twice. That last tournament I streamed with the Chaos Return was 9 minutes long, with Game 2 ending in a complete and utter blowout. BLS is going to come in and swing in directly. If this attack... the Rain Destruction is going to come and nuke the Blackluster Soldier. Going to put both players down to low life points. Oh, the Call of the Haunted is going to come back. He summoned it successfully. He's going to bring it back and tempt us again. He's going to hit over the tribe. Aretos now put in a critical spot. Wasn't expecting to call the Haunted play. Aretos down to one token. Staring down at BLS. He thought he cleared it with the Ring of Destruction. But now Lefty is sitting very comfortably on a BLS. Aretos' best chance is to possibly pull off, possibly dig into a Snatch Steal. The Smashing Ground is going to clear that last token, giving Aretos no tokens to use for Metamorphosis. Serpent to call back to hand. Aretos, 6 cards in hand, but he's got to think of something quickly. This BLS could end the tournament for him. After a very impressive run, knocking out 5 players to get to the finals. I'm also falling off frame because I keep leaning forward. Anticipation. This may be the most important move of the match for Aretos. If it was me, I would have crumbled and fallen in like paper, but good thing I'm watching these guys so I can learn for myself. Amazing also at this, being at the finals here, the pressure that players can maintain, keeping their mental stamina, keeping their mental fortitude, just keeping themselves focused the entire time. That is a very impressive skill to see. Actually, in these very clutch situations where one false move can send their chances plummeting. I have to commemorate both players for having the kind of stamina to play multiple games like this, multiple matches, and not haphazardly approach anything. Here comes a set. Metamorphosis off. He's gonna grab that Thousand-Eyes Restrict and look to steal that BLS. The book is gonna flip it down. Is this the end of the game for Aretos? Does Aretos have another move? Does he have another move? Oh, the Snatch Steal is going to be coming in. He does have a normal summon. He still has a normal summon because... No, sorry, he doesn't have a normal summon. I'm sorry. Dismiss that. He used it to Rendition of Faith. Ah. I had tokens on the brain. Anyway, Aretos does have control of this BLS now. He could look to just banish the card itself, or he could look to swipe at Alephia directly. But if Alephia does get a Spell Trap removal in the next turn, then Aretos will be lights out unless he has another way to keep himself safe. That BLS gonna swing in directly, putting Alephia at 1700. Alephia is gonna get a little bit of life points back in that next turn. Aretos has no choice but to leave this BLS out in the open and hope that Alephia does not have the means to deal with it. Oh, the reverse Snatch Steal's coming out. Now this could be, oh, and that's gonna be the end. Alephia coming out with his own Snatch Steal. And ladies and gentlemen, we have now a two-time Cyber Champion. Alephia 2 has taken the tournament from Aretos. Aretos had such a solid run into the finals bracket, and he fought incredibly well in this tournament. Ah, what a final match. What a finals. Alephia 2 sealing the deal in this final game here. Winning, now being a back-to-back Cyber format winner. Aretos did have some struggles. Again, not being able to get into that, not getting to Pot of Greed or Graceful Charity, as he did point out. But we've got to see the replay on this game. Congrats to Alephia for winning the tournament and fighting his way through the lower bracket, and a big shout out to Aretos for doing incredibly well in the tournament. They're both winners in my mind. I know that sounds corny or it sounds cheesy to say, but it was still a great finals to watch. And that is going to wrap it up in this first tournament. I'm just going to see if I get these guys if they want to chat. What a run, guys. What a run to this first Cyber Goat Showdown tournament. We see Warriors have prevailed in this run, with Goat Control coming into the runner-up spot, and with Chaos Machine taking the third place spot. I look forward to seeing the coverage of on Format Library and seeing the most common cards played and what the topping list entirely looked like. Both these players may not join call because that was a pretty long game, but I'm happy to just go through the replay and review everything, keep talking about it. I do want to make my... Do you guys know how BSOX has been making his own tournament reports? I plan to do my own and to try and talk about the different decks now that I'll be able to see the lists. One sec. We could be getting Alephia 2 in the call here. I'm going to give him a ring. Is that Alephia? How are we doing? Well, congrats on being a back-to-back Cyber winner.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, thank you. Pretty wild, actually, that I managed to win this. With my early loss in the tournament, I think I had 7 wins in a row now to win, actually.
Yeah, that was
Don't remember when I did this the last time.
Yeah, that was a crazy run through the for the lower bracket. I don't want to call it losers bracket. Lower bracket, and pushing your way through Aretos and through to the finals, and Warriors take the top. Now that we've wrapped this tournament up, how do you feel about the Warriors going in for this tournament and for future tournaments?
Um, I think in general I was quite happy with my deck. I built it sort of close to like gold format warriors, but like philosophy wise, but I did run 3DD assailants over some of the other stuff just because of the existence of Cyber Dragon. Like Kaikus and Blade Knights can't really, trade with Cyber Dragon. DD Assailant can. I didn't play Solemns in the main because, just because of so much Cybersteins flowing around, just paying once and I'm almost always in lethal range. That's why I didn't feel I needed them. But in hindsight, I should have probably put them in the side. I would have liked them in the control matchup actually, but yeah. No, overall I was quite happy, I'd say.
I did notice that with the triple DD assailant. I noticed it not just in like this tournament, but I've noticed in other formats like GX and even 5Ds. It's been popping up in Edison with DD assailant just being a very useful like single card, having the high stat line for attack and defense and being called out by Rhoda. So I think people will be looking at DD assailant more because it's just being a good like solid like top decker and whatnot.
Yeah, in gold format it's still all right, but it's a bit held back just because of Chaos Turbo is just either setting a flip mon anyway or like banishing it with Sorg. So there's not that much honest battle shenanigans happening, but just because of Cyber Dragon and everyone is running it, there's just lots of more like meta gameplay going on. Not as much as in later formats like Reaper also. I think that's also the reason why DD Assailant gets limited at some point, just because he's pretty good at what he does. Not broken, but just good.
It's a solid single, a
I
solid
think
single card, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's just pretty good and just defining the battle stuff.
Well, awesome. What did you think about now? What did you think about the other decks in this format? Like we've seen most amount of players on Goat Control, some on Stein Monarch. Do you see those decks like evolving? Do you see other decks maybe coming up, or some decks maybe are not as good as we may perceived? Because you did play the most amount of games out of everybody, so grasping your insight.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think like the control decks are definitely very good, like with the Will and Stein in there. Just not going they don't have to go all in. They have a pretty good game plan in general, and like just the Stein and Will stuff increases the ceiling by a lot, without giving too much inconsistency to the deck. The Cold Wave Stein Monarch stuff, I'm not too sure. I think I'm not fully sure, but I think I won my first tournament with that. So
It's all good. It was kind of an on-the-spot question, so.
On paper, I somehow don't really know myself why it's that good, and it really shouldn't be. But playing against it also always didn't feel that great. I also had. I think I played against Dump Truck, and I had to get really lucky to win that match. I thought on paper I should be quite favored with my 3-trap dust fruits on the beta game plan, but it really wasn't that great. Just probably because of the spice and tomatoes, and so they could really buy a lot of time against me.
That's fair. And I did witness the game. I don't know if it was your game. I did see a back-to-back cold wave, and it was almost like it was just a complete.
Yeah.
We see why it got banned later on. We see why it got like eventually banned. Like it just created a non-game essentially. It's brutal.
Yeah, exactly. I think when Gladiators and also a bit Light Sworn stuff came around, like the easy bomb play special summon stuff that could nuke the whole field, Cold Wave was insanely broken there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really feel that much here. Yeah, but Cyberstein is also pretty similar in a way. So yeah, it can also be, as you said, can create non-games here, like with Cyberstein. Yeah, I think I lost the game against 2 Cold Waves back to back under Cyberstein, and yeah, I just couldn't do anything. But that's fair. I mean, that's also how I won last time, a couple games.
It's just how it plays out sometimes. Your opponent just has the Steinmark that can just have the kill combo. Go control can just have the stacked board with can just have the stacked board up, and I guess warriors can just have all the tools, all the rotas ready to just answer to whatever the opponent has. It just happens, any deck, anything.
Yeah, yeah, just having always the good one-for-one stuff. Yeah, that's what I realized without me playing Solemn and having a few more monsters than the normal stuff. I can't really have this super locked down game state as quickly just because I don't have the Solemns and can't set as much back row compared to Goat Warriors. But yeah, therefore I can like trade resources over a couple turns left. Can bounce back a bit more. It plays a bit different, but still, when I open some beaters and have a good knock, I can also win in a few turns quite quick. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Solemn still being that its own high risk, high reward. Yeah, can sometimes win you a game, can sometimes unintentionally lose you a game. It's, requires a little more looking into.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it's a bad card, but there's a little bit. It's kind of questionable going in here when a lot of things can just punch you in for high damage.
Yeah, I'm also honestly not really sure. I think I should play it in the side probably next time, but I mean I won the tournament without them in the main, so it's not like they have to be played.
No.
But I think I also didn't really miss them in the main, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? Come the next tournament, I'll let you guys know. I'm speaking to everybody else who's in the chat when it is. I will announce that when I do. There's definitely be another tournament, and oh yeah, by the way, you have won yourself a little bonus of either Discord Nitro or DB Dono. So we'll talk about in that DMs. And I'm also giving a second place prize to Aretos for his run into the winners bracket. So you have a little bit of reward too.
Thank you.
So anyway, for everyone else, there will be a future Cyber format tournament. Thank you, Lefia, for joining the call, giving your insights on the game, and of course, pushing your way through into another retro tournament victory. You are definitely the GOAT, in my opinion, amongst the many GOATs.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, I'm going to call it the stream here, and I'm going to let you go continue the rest of your night, because I know it's probably somewhere late where you are. And I'll see you around I'll see you on the Discord. Take care.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up. As I said, there will be another tournament around the corner. I don't know if it'll be for September, but I can possibly look into it for October. I look forward to seeing what the future looks like for Cyber format and to see how players will push their deck building or what decks they'll take, if more strategies emerge, if players want to experiment and try different rogue strategies. Like, the board is still open. I don't think this is a solved format. Even if it's very close to GOAT, which a lot of things haven't figured out. But anyway, I am signing off. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to let you guys the rest of your day. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for watching the finals. And I will see you guys around on the Discord and whatnot. Peace. Have a good night.